In this video we'll talk about some variations and the nuances of the standard boogie shuffle. You know, the part that goes like this. The boogie shuffle is the most used accompaniment pattern on guitar ever. Not only in the blues, but it's also sometimes used in other styles of music as well. And so when this is the most important part, you'll play it very often in many different songs, and of course you don't want to play the exact same pattern all the time. And so in this video I'll show you some variations, what else you can do, some nuances to make it sound even better, so that you can really shine when playing this stuff. Hello and welcome, my name is Andi and this is a place where blues guitar is made easy. As always, you can download the tabs and the playback for free. I'll put the link below in the description. So let's start with the basic variation of the boogie shuffle pattern, which is you play two notes at the same time, the root, in A it's the open A string, and with the index finger you play the fifths, which is on the second fret of the D string. You alternate these two notes with these two notes, again the open A, but this time the fourth fret on the D string with the ring finger, which is the sixth from A. So we have an A5 chord and an A6 chord. Now you play both of these notes twice and you play it with a shuffle. We'll talk about the damping technique in a minute. Next you'll play the D, which is just one string higher, so open D, and on the G string, second and fourth fret. And on the E, you start on the low E string. And the fingers go on the A string. So, you can play it with a pick, or you can play it with your bare fingers. The sound is a little different. Next, there are two different kinds of damping. First, there's the palm mute, where you dampen the strings with your palm. You open your fingers loosely, so don't be like this and don't be like this. Not so tight, but just loosely, and then lay the fingers on your strings, somewhere just on the strings. So not behind, because there's no damping. If you go too far to this side, there's too much damping and no note that you can hear left. You don't have to put a lot of pressure on here, it's all very easy and loose. If it's too much, it sounds like this, and if it's too little, so you just have to find the sweet spot, somewhere in between where you like the sound. So the other damping technique is when you on purpose place your hand too far here, so the note is completely dead. And what we have here is you count like 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1, 2, 3, 4, you hit the strings, on trip you stop the strings, and on let you hit the strings again. Note on the second time we don't stop them, so it's always like note, stop, note, note, stop, note, note, stop, note. I'll do it very slowly, and then you have to bring it up to tempo to make it sound great. So very slowly, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. Also notice that on one triplet it's always the same note, and then for the next triplet it's the other note. And if you bring it up to tempo, it sounds like this. A very cool sound. Now let's play it with the band. Of course you don't want to play an A all the time. So how do you play in other keys? Very simple. You just make this pattern movable We'll play the same notes right now. So it's an A and the E and the F sharp above. So the A is here on the E string, 5th fret. If you tune the guitar with fretted notes, you already know that the 5th fret is the same note as the next string open. And then we'll go 1 string up, 2 frets up, and here is your ring finger. If you prefer, or your middle finger, you can choose wherever you want to make the stretch. And then your pinky goes 2 frets up, so it's the 9th fret. Of course, again, you can apply both damping techniques, palm mute or the stopping of the strings. Additionally, when there's this movable pattern, I'll also loosen the fretting hand, so I'll basically stop with both hands. That's only left hand, that's only right hand, and together those notes are really stopped and cut off. If you have too much reverb, it sounds a little wishy-washy like this. Usually on rhythm guitar you don't want to do that. I prefer to play without any reverb on rhythm guitar, and I'll just add some reverb when I play solo. That's what the reverb is for usually. And now if you want to move the pattern to different keys, you just have to put your index finger on the E string on the appropriate note. So for example, the C is on the 8th fret, so here's your pattern. And for the next chord, the 4th chord, in this key, you just go up 1 string, then you go back. And for the last line, there's the 5 chord, 2 frets up from the 4, then you go to the 4 chord and back to the 1. You don't even have to know what these chords are called. You just have to know where to move your fingers. If you find this is going up too much and you want to play it lower, you can also go from the root of the 1st chord 7 frets down, which happens to be the same chord, just an octave lower. And of course the 5th chord is here. Now let's play that with the band again. So the next variation introduces the minor 7ths. So here we had root and 5th, root and 6th, and now we go up another fret with the pinky and back. This is a minor 7th and makes it really bluesy. Of course, each note is played twice. And of course you can apply the string stopping or the palm muting or both at the same time. The D and the E are again on the higher and the lower string. And if you want to make that pattern movable, we're up here again. And here, if you can't make the stretch till here, no problem. If you go up to here, you just remove your middle finger. So it's index middle, index pinky, and now you'll remove the middle finger, put it back on. Alright, let's play that pattern to the band. If you have a slow blues, you may want to play a little variation of the pattern that goes something like this. Now I'll play with my fingers because this pattern plays the strings individually and I prefer to use my 2 fingers here. What we'll do here is on the beats we'll have the higher string, the D string, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the root we'll put in front of it. So the first note is a pickup, like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now I stopped the strings so they didn't ring into each other. Of course you can let the strings ring. Now if you switch chords, again you have to start one shuffled 8th note early. So it's and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. So you start the bar a little before the band, or you move to the next chord a little before the band. If you want to make that pattern movable, again, no problem. And again, you can add palm mute. And as I showed before, you can stop the strings, in this case with your finger that's picking or with your fretting hand. Or with that hand. Alright, let's play it with the band. Show you the difference between the sounds. In the first 4 bars I stopped the strings. In the next 4 bars I added palm mute. And in the final 4 bars I just let the strings ring. Now let's add the minor 7s in again. So there's again only one note different. That's the same, that's the same, that, and now there's one different note instead of the index, and then back to the ring finger. You can add palm mute. Don't forget that you play the first note before the 1 and 1, and of course you can stop or let the strings ring. Very easy, nothing much new, just a new little variation with one more note. If you want to make that pattern movable again, you might have to remove the middle finger when you make the complete scratch here. Maybe not, you just have to try around a little bit with your hand. If you have the thumb up here, it's very, very difficult, if not impossible, so you should have your thumb here. But this is not the only movement you can make with your hand. You can also angle your hand differently in that direction, and you can also move it in that direction. So you just have to find the sweet spot where you can easiest make that big stretch here. And now let's play that pattern with the band again. I have one more variation for you. Now we'll bring a little melody, a little movement into the thing. So what we'll do now is so what do we have here? First we'll play the 2 strings together again, and now only one string, middle to ring finger, 3rd to 4th fret on the A string. That's a bluesy minor 3rd to major 3rd move that you'll have in the blues all the time. 2 strings, 1 string, and then back to 2 strings, the same 2 strings as before. And now ring finger and back to the index. I'll stop the 1 and the 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. But I'll let ring the 2 and the 4, because otherwise it sounds a little choppy. It's not technically wrong, but that's not great, I think. If you like, you can also play, while playing these two notes, the second string here, and then it sounds a little fatter, a little different, something like this. Now it's one string and two strings. There's a little difference in sound. You can play which version you prefer. Now if you want to make that movable, you can do that also. Again, index and middle finger, 5th and 7th fret on E and A. And here's your ring finger on the 8th fret and your pinky on the 9th fret. Minor third to major third again, this time on the E string. And of course here you can also play, when you play these two notes, the second note with it. To play this accurately it's a little more difficult because one tends to drop the string from the fretboard when fretting this note. So it's easier to just lay the finger a little flat and dampen the A string and only have that one note ring. Let's play this with the band. So now you know about the nuances of the boogie shuffle. Also you learned some variations, so you'll never have to play the same thing in 2 or 3 songs in a row. If you want to download the tabs and the playback, just hit the link below this video. If you want to learn some more from me, you can watch some of these videos over here, and you should subscribe to my channel so you'll never miss a video again. You can also ask me a question or ask if I'm available for a personal lesson for you via Skype. Just write an email to that address here. My name is Andi and I'll see you on the next video.